I was about to start talking about the North Carolina stabbing of that white girl.
Oh,
fill me in on that.
train.
Who was this? Was the stabber an immigrant, or was he just a North Carolina man?
No, it was North Carolina guy, black guy, and he had like 14 prior arrests. And the reason he was out and able to murder was because a left-leaning non-government organization called the MacArthur Group the MacArthur Foundation, gave $3.3 million to the county in which he was incarcerated. And the goal of it, because, it's a left-leaning group, was, equity, diversity. But the express purpose of it was to take black and brown people out of prison to make it more equitable, percentage-wise there, and encourage them to release these people who shouldn't have been released. And so,
what was he in for?
The most recent time, I'm not sure, but he was a career criminal, tons of stuff. What was it? Do you know?
He made a false call to 911.
False call to 911. Well, that was arrest 14. And there were 13 previous, and this guy had been violent before. He was just out of his mind.
Yes. What did he do that was violent before?
I think he had assaulted people. I think he had.
You sure though, right?
No, if you know, tell me.
The thing I read said he had only done nonviolent stuff. He was in for what they called a minor misdemeanor, which is the 911 call, and he was crazy.
He's schizophrenic.
The 911 call he was in the hospital when he made it, and he said they were giving him drugs that he didn't want against his will, and he asked for help. So what he really needed to do was be in a mental hospital and get him fucking straightened out before he hurt someone, and they didn't do that. But it wasn't the MacArthur Foundation that had anything to do with it. It is just when someone has a misdemeanor like that, they don't hold them in jail while they await trial.
Well, I think if you've been arrested 14 times, maybe we should change something and make it so you're clearly crazy. Is the 14
times thing true?
Yeah.
He spent 5 years in prison after pleading guilty to robbery with a dangerous weapon.
Okay. So yeah, he was a violent offender. And
is that violent?
Robbing someone with a dangerous weapon, yes. Yeah, that's violence. And so he was let out because the MacArthur Foundation gave money to incentivize the release of people who that was their stated preference. They're a left-leaning organization. Let black and brown people out to be more equitable. And then he's on that train, and you see the white Ukrainian refugee sitting there minding her own business, doesn't say a word, even like curled up small on the way back from her job at a pizza place, and he murders her. In the video, I don't know if you guys have seen it. You should watch if you haven't, because it's horrible and eye-opening. And he stabs her, and she goes into shock immediately. Clearly, kind of had that mind-body connection that you have a realization you're going to die, and she starts weeping in her hands that she's going to die. And the guy immediately stands up, and this is why, like, the crazy part of it, like, it's interesting that crazy people never attack jacked groups of men who are looking at them. It's so weird. They're so crazy, but they attack people with their backs turned who are vulnerable and easy to kill. It's so crazy how they have that prescience, but they're so insane. Stabbed her to death. She falls over in her seat. She's bleeding out. The 5 other people sitting around her do nothing to help. She's bleeding to death and crying, and these people do nothing. It was 5 other black people who were sitting there on the public transit. They didn't help. They didn't do anything, which is ghastly in and of itself. If someone's bleeding to death near me, I would like to think I would do fucking something. Compression, just anything to try and help. And these people didn't. And the guy, they say he's crazy. He walked up the front of the train, and then you hear him say, "I got that white girl. I got that white girl." And then he like used his perceived like excuse on another guy. He goes, "She called me a ninja. She called me a ninja." And so like they say he's crazy. I have no doubt he's actually crazy. Sure he is. Like you have to be crazy to do something like this. But it's also the craziness is tempered when it's like he killed her. He killed her near a stop, got up immediately, walked to the front, said, "I got that white girl," practiced his little "she called me a ninja" excuse, and then tried to escape the authorities. And so it's like, all right, well, clearly this was a bit of calculation. And so it seems pretty obvious he killed her because she was white, and he was only out of jail because he is black. And that's what the funding was from that left-leaning group. That's why this took hold, and so many people watched it, because it was gruesome, horrible. The story's awful, and it is a very tangible video and evidence of how cruel it is to allow violent offenders out of prison under the guise of empathy. It's like, no, having mercy for these violent offenders is actually cruelty towards innocent people, because they will behave this way again.
Yeah, I don't know. I read about the MacArthur Foundation because I saw your thing. Like, I saw your argument with Chiz about it. And I was like, what is this? Let me see if I can learn. And the goal of that organization, whether they do it well or not, I don't know, is they try to lower recidivism rates, and they like fund classes to get people job skills and shit like that, so that when they do get out, they don't just go straight back to the shit that got them in there. As you know, that now that he made a fucking bullshit 911 call because he's insane. And I'm like, do you lock a guy up forever for that? The reason he's out is he did his time. He did 5 years in jail for a robbery. How many years should a robbery be? I don't know. If you think it should be 15, 20, should it end a person's life? Should it be the death penalty? Should it be 6 months? Like for a robbery?
I think if you're engaging repeatedly in
the repeated thing, yeah. I don't know what his whole criminal record was. Like if it's 14 times, like we said, then what are we doing here? I don't know.
Yeah,
call me crazy. Maybe there should be a 14 strikes and you're out law.
Oh, dude, like, I don't know if you've seen the numbers. If we just did 3 strikes for not even all crimes, just violent offenses. If you did a 3 strikes rule for violent offenses, because you know the amount of people who actually commit violent crimes repeatedly is very small. It's a huge amount of repeat of the same people doing this over and over and over and over. And if we just had a 3 strikes rule for that, just violent crimes, not calling in 911 because you're schizo or taxes or whatever, just violent, you could reduce violent crime by like 50% over time. Like you could reduce it dramatically.
So we did 3 strikes, you're out, or maybe we still do. I don't even know. And then it's like assholes got into bar fights, and that's like a violent crime. 3 strikes, you're out can be too tough. You on the surface, it sounds like a great idea. Like I have 0 strikes and I'm 52. Like it shouldn't be that hard to make 0
violent crimes.
Yeah, I've never had one. And you know, so it's like, how hard is it to live your life and never get into, you know, a violent crime, never be arrested for violent, like it should be the standard. But then I hear of these cases where like, there was a violent crime and like 2 bar fights, and now the guy literally they throw him away and lock him up and throw away the key. Is what I'm looking for. I couldn't get off it. And I'm like, man, so I think maybe the answer is that we allow judges to use some amount of judgment in you know, like whether or not this is a, you know, guy defending himself in a bar or a mutual combat in a bar versus a guy who's murdering a woman on a bus, right? They're not the same thing.
Sure.
And so anyway, I guess I just want a little judgment, good judgment from judges, and that's my solution. Sentencing guidelines, but not mandates.
I like the mandate. I like if you're involved in 3 violent crimes, you should be locked up. You can't participate in our society. Sorry. Like you're out. 3 strikes and you're out. Like if you assault someone and then you assault someone again, and then a bar fight starts to break out and you decide to get in a brawl, like you're a retard, number one, for being like, I'm on strike 2. You should be sprinting away from that. And if you don't have the prescience or presence of mind to realize you should be sprinting away from that, then you are a danger in and of itself.
You know how careful I am not to be in any kind of a situation that's even tangentially related to something criminal. You cannot imagine the things I avoid. I won't stop at certain gas stations. You know what I mean? Like I don't involve myself in anything that could throw me back into the fucking meat grinder. And
won't be 60 days next time.
Yeah.
All right, it won't be 60 days next time, you know, especially if it's an actual crime that I commit and not just, you know, chilling with my girlfriend.
And again, like, I'm not even being hard line where it's like, oh, 3 arrests and you're out. Like, 3 violent crimes, you're done. Your strikes are out. You assaulted 2 people and then you got in a bar fight. There is no indication that you're going to stop here if we allow this to continue. And having mercy for this person who has demonstrated that they're a danger to society, it's not mercy to them. It's cruelty to innocence. If we had a policy more like that, then that girl would be alive and that guy would have been kept locked up. Like, and something you said about judges, I believe the judge that let him out was a magistrate judge who had never passed the bar and was just appointed to that and was like, yeah, he can go.
Yeah, I don't know anything about the judge, but the 911. So he did bad shit. 14, I hadn't heard, but I don't know if it's right or wrong. But I do know the 911 call is what he was out on, and it's like, shit. Were we supposed to lock him up for good? Mental health hospital is like, I think he should have been being treated. Like, get him off the streets, put him in a mental health hospital until he's capable of existing in society.
I don't care if it's
are they going to charge him with are they going to charge him with a hate crime now?
Him with a hate crime? No,
I hate hate crimes. I don't think hate crimes are a thing. All crimes are hate crimes. What's good for the goose is good
for the gander.
Yeah, all crimes are hate crimes, but they only ever really go in one direction for the most part. So yeah. I agree with Woody. Like, just treat crimes as crimes and treat people equally, not like, oh, you're a white person who killed a black person. This is actually a bigger deal than if you had killed a white person. It's like, no, terrorism is its own charge.
Why?
I don't know. That's how they have it organized.
What?
Yeah, should it be the crime or the motivation?
That's good for the goose, good for the gander, my friends. This was clearly a hate crime, so we need to up those sentencing guidelines, clearly. Does North Carolina have the death penalty? Maybe send him to Ukraine. That should be the punishment.
But it's rarely done.
Yeah, they should send homie to Ukraine. That would be a good punishment.